All right, welcome out, sports fans, to another episode of the Gridiron 64 podcast. This will be episode number 11. We'll be breaking down week number 10, of course, and then previewing week 11. And with me, I got the full crew in full effect. The regular season is just about to end for football, and it's going to get exciting because we're going to be talking playoffs also, which is something we've been waiting for. So I'd like to introduce my crew at this time. I got the coach, Steve Cantu. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, blessed, brother. I'm happy to be here.
We got the Z-Man, Johnny Zavala. Z-Man, how you doing?
Doing good.
And then we got the big man that runs the show for us here on the Gridiron 64, Big T, Tony Pena. Big T, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Ready to get it going.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. We've got the breakdown. We're going to be previewing week 11, which I think we're going to be doing more games. I think we got 16. It's the last game of the regular season, so we threw some extra games in there. So, we're going to go ahead and get started so that we can finish hopefully in a few hours, within 2 hours. So, T, I'll give it to you and take it away.
All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to break down week number 10. We're going to try to get to this pretty quick. So the first game we have to break down is the CC Vets fall to the Flower Bluff Hornets 39-7. Johnny, we all picked Vets to win this game. What is your thoughts on this loss by the Veterans Memorial Eagles?
Yeah, this was a shocker, dude. This was a shocker. Flower Bluff came to this game wanting. I mean, you're state ranked. Everybody's coming for you. You know, Vets number 6. Now they're knocked out of the state rankings. They're not in the top 10 anymore. The Vets started off the game pretty good. On the first play of the game, they scored a 59-yard pass by Elijah Durrett. You know, what a way to start off the game by the Vets. But that happened to be their only score the entire game. You know, what I got here? After the first play, Flower Bluff only gave up 98 total yards for the rest of the game to the Vets. That's crazy. Yeah. After one play, that's it. You shut them down. Flower Bluff had back-to-back safeties during that game, which was huge. It was by let's see, where I got him at. Johnny Dickinson. I think he's a Virginia Tech signee. So he had the 2 back-to-back safeties for that game, you know. So he's a big standout. And one thing I read about Flower Bluff, they had a freshman step up in the backfield. His name's Cameron Johnson. He had 16 carries for 100 yards. I think that put him like around 800-900 yards on the season as a freshman.
Wow.
He came up on an injury from a beginning of the season by a player. But yeah, they had a great game. What a way to go into this game, and that put Flower Bluff in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. That's big.
Yeah, Johnny. So do you know what does that do for that district? Now veterans have a loss. GP has a loss in district. Each of them only having one loss. Does that do something about seeding, or do you know anything about that?
Let's say the Vets don't have that district championship locked down yet.
Okay, because they have a matchup this week. Let's see who they
East or
got
West,
this week.
one of those.
They got West,
They got West.
and West is looking for blood. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that when we predict week 11. So Steve, what are your thoughts on this game? We all picked the Vets to win.
Yeah, no, and we all had great cases. You know what I'm saying? Nobody saw this coming. I mean, Flower Bluff, has been kind of chugging along, you know what I'm saying, kind of hit and miss season. But I mean, there's a couple of things, right? I mean, there's always something to say about those in-town rivalry games, and where you got to throw the seeding out the window, and they just play each other hard. Now, I don't know the history of Vets and Flower Bluff, but along with that, you couple with maybe a little bit of oversight on Vets' part, maybe looking past them and not getting up for the game, and these guys playing for seeding, trying to get into the playoffs. So they're amped up a little bit more than usual. And, that being backed up to the goal line like that, Johnny, called out that it had 2 safeties. Well, that means that either they punt the ball deep and got them pinned down, or they had, some type of mishap with the snap, and Flower Bluff was able to pin them deep in their end zone. So one of those 2 things happened in that game. And okay. Gosh, I lost my train of thought. I thought they hit a home run here. I looked up and lost my train of thought. No, it was just a highlight. So yeah, Vets obviously came in the game flat, and but you would think, that offense that they're running, that they'd be able to bounce back. So, then that turns back to Flower Bluff having a great game plan. You know what I'm saying? I kind of look at the West Oso game and Rockport game, right? You come in with the great game plan, and your boys are on fire, and they get charged up behind a couple of good plays in the beginning. Well, it's hard to knock them off that block. You know what I'm saying? If you don't break that momentum, and it seems that Vets didn't, were never able to climb them, drag themselves out of that hole that they fell into. And that's tough, man. Hey, hats off. You got to go total hats off, because the Flower Bluff and their coaching staff and those boys out there really come down to play. And, it caught us all by surprise. And I'm sure the rest of the state, along with Veterans Memorial, caught them off guard. So, but I'm sure Vets will bounce back. The coach will get those boys refocused. And because that's not something you want to have going into playoffs, right? Second to the last game of the season, you hit a bad, and this has got to qualify as a bad bump in the road and a terrible loss for that program. To try to get their momentum back and get their mojo back. So it's not going to be easy. They got Victoria West coming up, and Victoria West has been playing tough all year. So who knows how that seeding is going to go. Victoria West may have something to say about who's going to go into that seeding 1 or 2, you know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a huge game, and one that I'm looking forward to, because like you said, well, I guess it's okay to say it. I'm kind of pulling for GP this year. They've been my Cinderella guys in that district. So, let's see what can happen. Of course, they got to take care of their business too, but they're going to be up against it. Vets is going to be, kind of got the wind knocked out of them. Then they're going to have another hungry team coming and chasing them this week. So it's going to be interesting to see how this week's going to turn out.
Gabriel, you have anything to say on this game? Anything to add?
No, just, real quick, I was surprised. We know that Flower Bluff has had talent. We talked about at the beginning of the season with Villegas, their quarterback, and, they still had some talent from last year's team. They just hadn't put it all together. I guess they were waiting for Vets because they really shined against Vets. But for Veterans Memorial, that's a big loss. But if they take care of business this Friday, they're district champs, right? So all they got to do is win. They didn't really lose anything, Now, if they lose this Friday against West, then it becomes very interesting. So as long as they take care of business Friday, and win, then they're district champs. But I think this loss really shook them up. I didn't think they expected to lose. And I think they might have taken Flower Bluff just a little light, because Flower Bluff had been losing to GP. They had lost some games they shouldn't have lost. So maybe they just didn't come in with their A game, and they got shocked, and Flower Bluff really wanted to win. With the kind of season you've had with Flower Bluff, imagine this. This was their chance to show, the Coastal Bend area, hey, we're still a good football team. You're taking out the best team in Corpus, and they put a show on that really helped these kids get that confidence back. So great win for Flower Bluff. But if I'm Veterans Memorial, it's just one loss, get rid of it, and then go from there. So as long as they win Friday, they'll be district champs.
Yeah. So, anyways, there are a lot of interesting games in that 5A Division I district here in the area that are gonna really mold the seating after this week. So we'll just have to stay tuned and watch. Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. I think you guys all said enough about what happened. Veterans Memorial just going on with the chip on the shoulder and really getting rolled by Flower Bluff and stunned. So, good job on Flower Bluff and the game plan over there and taking on and defeating the Vets. The next game we have, this was a no-brainer. We had the 8-0 Refugio Bobcats. We had the Kenedy Lions coming into their house, and in this game, the Bobcats take the win, 62-0. Johnny, you got anything to say on this game?
No, I just knew this was going to be a good game. A good game for Refugio.
All right. Steve, did you think the 7-1 Lions were going to come in here and do something to the Bobcats? I mean, at least score.
Yeah, no, man, they were up against it. I mean, Refugio don't lose very much in the regular season, man, especially this early. You know what I'm saying? So, no, my expectations were Refugio to roll them, and they did what they had to do. Oh my gosh.
Later, John.
All right.
Anyway, so now it took the air out of me. So yeah, no, we'll move on, man. I had Refugio. Shut up, Johnny.
Yeah. No, I didn't expect Kenedy to win, but I didn't expect them to get shut out. They've had some decent games against some decent teams where they won, so I wasn't expecting to get shut out. Gabriel, what about you?
No, I think the game spoke for itself, so I mean it's Refugio. I had seen Kenedy play earlier, and I knew that Refugio was gonna win the game. So no surprise there.
All right. Guys, one of the things that I don't have, this might have been it, but I'm not sure. The game of the week for this week, was it this next game? I didn't write it down. The Odem Owls versus Hebbronville. Did anybody get that?
Let me see. The next game
I-
should be
The next game on the
Odem
thing is
Hebbronville, game of the week.
It was
Okay.
okay. So the next game we're going to talk about, that we're going to break down, is the game of the week, the 9-0 Odem Owls, and they had the Hebbronville Longhorns coming to town, 7-0 Hebbronville Longhorns coming to town. In this tight game, Odem takes it 28-20. Johnny, what are your thoughts on this past week's game of the week?
Ooh, what a district championship to be playing for. Such a tight game. It was just back and forth, and Odom's defense pulled it off at the end. Marcus Martinez had an interception with 2 minutes left in the game when Hebbronville was inside the 10-yard line. Key huge play on defense on that. With that, that put Odem at a 10-0 season. Anybody go besides? Nah? Who else is undefeated around the area?
For you?
Yeah. That's it. That's
San
it.
Diego.
San Diego?
Yeah, that's right.
London.
Right. I forgot about that.
London.
This is a back-to-back district championships for Odem. They're third out of the last 4 years. 10-0 for the season, their fifth time in their school history. But Hunter Dawson had 144 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 22 on a pass, and a touchdown pass himself. That put Odem at the number 10 rankings in the state now.
Oh.
First time they've been up there.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at the box score. It looks like Hebbronville took the early lead at halftime. They were up 14-7. Odem outscored them in the second half. Steve, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it came down to that second half. It came down to the fourth quarter, quite honestly. Odem shut them down in the fourth quarter, didn't allow any points, and that's what it came down to. I mean, and then obviously the last play of the game, or I'm saying the drive stopping interception, I'm saying, where it looked like Hebbronville was headed in for a score. Odem Owls raise up and shut them down and make a play on defense. But hey, kudos to them, man. They had an awesome season, awesome regular season, and true to form. Odem's been on that same track, so it's should have came to no surprise, that they were gonna come out and and take care of business in this district. I mean, Hebbronville played a heck of a game. Hebbronville have a great season themselves. You know what I'm saying? Had some nice quality wins, and they were on a definite roll. Odem just had the best of them. Was the game played in Odem? Sure, that it might have had something to do with it. Yeah. So,
Yes.
having that home game, that big of a game is big too. There's got to be something to said about performing in front of your home crowd, for a district title. And I mean, that's what every kid's dream, right? So, that's a great job, a great, lots of individual efforts, but a total team effort that Odem had, and kudos, great job for them on a great season, regular season. And now it's on to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for Odem to make some noise in the playoffs as well. You know what I'm saying? So good luck to them and the rest of the way.
Yeah, so this is what I got to say, Johnny. If Odom did move up to number 10 in state, I mean that says a lot about the Hebbronville Longhorns for really actually almost defeating them, because Odom really didn't really, it came down to the fourth quarter for them, because Hebbronville had extended their lead 20-7 in the third quarter, and then or 20-7 in the third quarter, and then the 14 points that they scored in the that Odom scored in the fourth quarter really is what got them the win. So
Mhm.
it says a lot about Hebbronville, and like Steve said, I mean, they're 7-1. They only got one loss on the season, and that loss is to a state ranked team. It says a lot about how good a ball they're playing down there as well. Gabriel, you got anything to say about this game?
Just congratulations to Odom. I mean, they earned it this year. They got to, I think Tap and Hebbronville were the closest they given competition. Of course, they beat Tap soundly this year, but
Yeah.
Hebbronville's coming on. So some of those boys will be back next year. So it'll be another battle next year. But hats off to Odem, the coaching staff, and those players. Man, they had to earn it this year, and they did. District champs again, like Johnny said, back to back, and then we're wishing them luck in the playoffs and see what they can do. Hopefully, they can go a couple of rounds, possibly even get out of the region. We'll see what happens with Odem, but definitely, man, they earned it this year. So congratulations to the Odem Mouse.
Yeah, that was a tough district to look at it. I mean, you brought up Taft, and just going back to the Odem Taft game, Odem, we thought that was going to be a better game, but Odem beats them 28-7. But man, Hebbronville and Taft went down to the last drive, and Hebbronville takes that win. I don't know if y'all remember that game. It was 35-28, but it
Yep.
was down to the last drive. So it's a really, really tough district, and it's good because that district's turned into a tough district. We haven't really had another tough district in the area besides the 5A and the 4A division, and so that's pretty good. That means South Texas football is getting tougher and a lot better, and I like to see that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point, Tony. That's gonna be a awesome district for the years to come, with
Yeah.
Taft up and coming. You know what I'm saying? Hebbronville and Odem. That is gonna be a district to watch for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and just real quick, Steve, you picked Hebbronville, so you got the L on that one. You picked against the Crew.
No, I did not.
Yeah,
I
you
did.
did. So the next game that we're gonna break down, we have the 4-3 Calhoun Sandcrabs, and they had the Alice Coyotes come to town. The 2-6 Alice Coyotes come to town. On this one, Calhoun wins pretty big. I don't know. It was a high scoring game all the way around, but 62-46. We all were on the winning side of this game. We all picked Calhoun. Any thoughts on this game? Anybody? Johnny?
Well, again, Puerto Bacas just using that ground game, getting 595 yards on the ground. They had, they spread it out, with three running backs. Their top running back, Esteban Cruz, with 251 yards and just on 15 carries. Had 4 touchdowns of his own. But with that Alice loss, Alice is now out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough, man. I was looking at Camarillo. I mean, for Alice, they ran up, they scored some points there. You know what I'm saying? Camarillo had a great game. He had 13 receiving. Yeah, 13 completion on 23 for 276 yards. I mean, they fought, you know what I'm saying? They did what they could, you know what I'm saying? But it's tough to stop that running game once it gets going. So, great season nonetheless by Alice. I'll be checking for them. I'm sure they're going to make some improvements going into next year. And, I'll be back on the Alice bandwagon once again next year, once they come back around, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they played tough, but their schedule was tough, man. They're another one that play in the tough district. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to make huge moves, right? Which is not regular. I mean, a successful season in a tough district like that has to be, maybe a win or two extra, or playing them an opponent tough. You know what I'm saying? I know there's no, gratifying in taking a loss, you know what I'm saying, as far as the coach is concerned. But I mean, if the team continues to grow and play well, you know what I'm saying, they'll bounce back, and they'll be better for it next year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a tough game, but one of the things I got to say about Port Lavaca, and Port Lavaca was good last year, and I think they're good this year. But I mean, in order to make a tough playoff run, they're gonna have to start passing the ball more. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just gonna
Yeah.
have to. Especially in that 4A Division One, once you get past, the by district round, you go to the area and the region round. Those guys throw the ball a lot, and you have to be able to defend it, and two, you have to be able to throw the ball too, because the running attack's not going to be enough. But we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong. 595 yards on the ground is pretty damn good. But yeah, as far as Alice, I think you're right. I think they will get better, and I think they will regroup. Alice is always a competitive team, competitive football program. So we'll see. But one of the things to say about that district in particular is, that we got the alignment next year, and you never know which of those teams that we'll be seeing next year. So that will be interesting. I don't know how soon that information comes out. Do y'all know how soon that information comes out? Is it the summertime, or will we know
I think it's
sooner than
like in
that?
February.
February?
I
Yeah.
want to say
So,
that.
well, I'll be waiting for that to see what happens, because with Rockport's growing, and you just never know. You never know if we move up or some of those teams move down. So it'd be really, really interesting to watch. So those teams are all must-watch teams. Gabriel, you have anything to add on that game?
Well, Calhoun will lose this week to Calallen. But a great win for them against Dallas. For Dallas, it's a little disappointing. We expected them to at least make the playoffs as a possibly third or at least fourth. I thought that fourth would go between them and Beeville, but down the stretch they fell apart. I think they got worse down the season than they did. They started off with bets, and then they kind of had some turnovers, and then they lost. And they won a big game, and then they were putting it together, but. I got to tell you, man, it was a disappointing season for these guys not to get into the playoffs. That's the way I think we need to look at it. Now, it's a tough district, but those were a lot of winnable games. So I think they just got to go back in the offseason and see. Remember, this team didn't play a lot last year either. So I don't know if this team is young or not, but definitely a disappointing season for Alice. We always expect Alice to be in the playoffs no matter what and make some noise. And this year it didn't happen. So I'm hoping that they'll regroup next year and come back stronger next year. And like I said, in a district that you don't know what's going to happen. But to me, it's very disappointing that Alice didn't make the playoffs this year.
All right. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens next year. Like I said, they started off competitively, and yeah, they did slip a little bit, but I think they got a winnable game next week against who was it? So I think they got TM, right? Yeah, they got TM. So they got a winnable game next week. We'll see. The next game that we're gonna talk about, we got the 7-1 Calallen Wildcats taking going down to Beeville to face the Trojans. In this game, Calallen takes the win 60-7. And this we all pick Calallen on this one. Johnny, you got anything to say on this game?
Well, Odem, Cal, and Bryce Burnett, he threw 7 attempts, dude.
Hey.
He completed 3 of them for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 of his 3 were touchdowns. Hey, they're throwing the ball, buddy. He also had 8 rushes for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. So he had 4 touchdowns that game. Mm-hmm. But with that win, that clinches Calallen with the district title again.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I had Calallen in this game too. I mean, it wasn't going to be close for me in my eyes. There's just way too much. I'm surprised to hear that the quarterback lit it up with all his. but hey, good job. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they may need to sprinkle a little bit of that more in. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, Calallen's a running team, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to pound the ball, and they're successful at it. Now I did hear a rumor. But I'm not going to air it. We'll talk about that off air. But I did hear something about Calallen that I found interesting, and we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, no, I had Calallen big in this one, and it's back to the drawing board for Beeville and those boys out there. But good luck, Calallen.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Calallen's a running team, but like I said about Port Lavaca, about Calhoun is you have to run. I mean, if you look at that district last year, where Calallen wins district last year, they defeated Calhoun, they defeated Miller, but Miller was the last one standing in that district in the playoffs. And they made it all the way to the fourth round, and it's because they throw the ball. You have to be able to incorporate the pass, especially in that 4A Division One district. When you go and play against teams like Austin LBJ and all those other teams up there, they throw the ball, and you have to be able to do it with them. You don't have to do it as much as them, but you have to be able to keep the defense off of your run. So Calallen's gonna and Calallen gets out of the playoffs early last year. So I think they're gonna have to start incorporating more of that. I think they got a pretty easy game. Well, I don't know about easy game, but a game where they can try some more of that just to get that quarterback more comfortable. I know they got some big linemen over there. I think they got some D1 prospects. I'm not sure if I'm not mistaken. I want to say Calallen had a couple. So they need to get those guys blocking and get that quarterback comfortable in the pocket and let him throw some balls. Gabe, did you want to add to that game?
Well, good luck to Calallen. I mean, no surprise there. I mean, we talk about them throwing, but they're going to run the ball in the playoffs. That's what Danaher's done. He's been there for years, and he's passed minimal. He'll pass when he has to, but he's a run guy. Everything that they do over there starts with the run and it ends with the run. So I don't anticipate anything's going to change, but it is nice to be able to watch him do a little throwing because it does open up the run, but I don't see that happening. But I think Calallen can make some noise. Last year, they lost to the same team that beat Miller, but the week later beat Calallen. LBJ beat both of them. I think I watched both games. I think LBJ was closer with Miller simply because last year Miller had body. I mean, when a guy like that falls in your lap, right, it makes a big difference. You'll see this year that it won't be that easy for Miller because they don't have my goodness, man. But either way, it was a foul ball. Thank God. But we're watching the World Series too. But I think Calallen's got a good chance to get out of the region. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. But for Beeville, listen, you just wanted to see Beeville, see if they could, compete. They scored 7, not much. But they're going to make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. Who does Beeville have? Who's their last regular season game, Tony?
Beeville is taking on Miller, so it's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, well, it's Alice and Tuloso-Midway. I think they played it last week. I saw, and
Yeah.
So has Beeville already clinched that spot?
Well, I think Alice and Tuloso-Midway have too many losses, so I would say that they probably did.
Yeah.
But if they lose to Miller, I think they all have a lot of losses, about the same amount of losses.
Yeah, but Beeville beat TM and
Alice, yeah.
Well,
So
it's either way, it's good. I mean, Calallen's dominant, but I wanted to see if they could, the defense could do something, but obviously they did not. Calallen too powerful for them. And so here we go. But I'm looking forward to talking about Calallen in the playoffs, and hopefully these guys can get out of the region this year, but we'll see.
all righty. So moving on to the next game, we had the 7-1 Ingleside Mustangs going down to Raymondville to take on the Bearkats, the 3-5 Bearkats in this game. Ingleside takes the win, and not really as convincing as I would have thought. 21-6. We all picked Ingleside on this one. Johnny, I'm gonna go to you first. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you think that Ingleside should have went down there and scored more points? I mean, we've seen Raymondville. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I was surprised by this. If I could remember, wasn't Raymondville leading at the half like 6-0? I think I
Not sure.
reported that to y'all.
No, it was zeros going into the third quarter. That's what I got.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
'Cause I thought Ravenville was ahead at one time 6-0.
yeah, they could be wrong on there. You might be right. You know
I
how
know-
this stat corrections usually
Yeah.
is.
I reported
No.
that game to y'all.
Yeah, it was 0-0. And then Ingleside scored 14 in the third, and then 7 in the fourth, and
Mhm.
Raymondville didn't score their 6 till the fourth.
Okay.
Is what I got.
Yeah, that was pretty shocked by that. That would have really turned up things at that bottom spot, you know. I don't know how that would have came out really, to tell you the truth, with Raymondville and Port Isabel. Yeah, that would have really twisted things around. But Leo Bedual, he rushed for 17 times for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. The funny thing is, like, if you think about it, I know it's a little out of hand, but you never know. You know, this could be a 3-way co-champs if Ingleside beats Sitton.
Oh, Johnny.
We got 3 6-1 teams.
Yeah, if Christmas comes
That
early,
happened like 3 years ago. That happened like 2 or 3 years ago.
So yeah, just throwing it out there. Ingleside's district title still out there.
yeah. Yeah, I thought Raymondville really came to play. You know, I mean, they played Ingleside tough that first half. You know, really shut down their attack there. So with that, I was surprised. I was surprised that Raymondville was able to hold them. You know what I'm saying? That tight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure what was going on in Ingleside, but you know, I'm glad that they figured it out in the second half and got things going. But you know, I mean, and you know, we always talk about that travel. That travel game is tough. You know, that 2.5-hour bus ride is always tough. And you know, we spoke about it going into the week. You know, how you know, sluggish teams, you know, get going. I'm sure if we talk to the coach, that'd be something that he'll bring up, is that, you know, hey, we started flat, you know, we didn't come out with the intensity, and you know, finally got things going in the second half. But good job good thing that they did, you know what I'm saying? That would have, like Johnny said, that would have really shooken things up in the district. But they got another opportunity next week, right, Johnny? Johnny's predicting Ingleside. He went on record that they're beating Sinton.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing I gotta say about this game is you know, and you said you hit the nail right on the head, is Raymondville played them tough in the first half. I'm just surprised that Ingleside didn't score more points. You know, that's what I will have to say about this game. Gabriel, what are your thoughts?
I don't think Ingleside was ever in any danger of losing the game. But I mean, you saw what Ingleside's defense was able to do, shut down Raymondville. You knew that Ingleside's offense, they weren't going to hold Ingleside's offense for 4 quarters to 6 points. 21 points, I thought Ingleside was going to score a lot more than that. So that was surprising when I saw the score. But sometimes, you know, you have an off game, man. I think they're offensively, they just didn't play very well, enough to win, but didn't play to the ability I think that they're capable of, because we've seen Raymondville, they should have scored a lot more points. But at the end of the day, Coach Hamrick and his Mustangs get the win, and that's what's important. Now you got another game to play against. It's going to be a tough one. You know, we'll preview that game when it comes up here in a minute. But great win for the Mustangs. They do what they're supposed to do, not in convincing win, but we know what they can do. We've seen it. But that defense for Ingleside is really good. And that's what I've been saying on the podcast this year, was that I like that defense for them. If their offense can get going and score some points, and they have scored points against some decent teams this year, you know, they'll win a playoff, maybe 1 or 2 plays. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary that Ingleside, you know, can't win the first round and possibly even get a second round win. So, you know, we'll see what happens with them. But I was, Tony, very shocked that they only scored 20 points. I was thinking they were going to be in the 40s. So that was shocking, but nevertheless, they come back home with the win, and that's what's important.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So the next game was a shocker to me. In the first half, I should say.
Mhm.
We had the number 9 Cuero Gobblers taking on Smithville in this game where Cuero takes the win 42-28. But this game was close at the half. Johnny, what are your thoughts on this game?
Uh,
Oh, I'm sorry,
I'll-
53-25. I wrote that wrong. My bad.
okay, that's what I had. I was all like, okay, here we go again. Um, no, I had Cuero on this one. They're just having a remarkable season. I mean, they stacked up their preseason schedule. So they're on a roll. I mean, they're getting up there. They're standing out there on the offense. Obviously, their defense is there. This is Smithville, so I was shocked that they did score 25 points. You know, this ain't no mediocre team that scored 25 on Cuero. You know, Smithville is a real team too. You know, so I don't think I was real shocked about Smithville scored 25. And I keep bringing this guy up, Sean Burks. He had 18 tackles this game.
Wow.
You know, that brings him up to 171 on the season. But Cuero also, of course, likes that ground game with 382 yards on the ground and only 68 yards passing, or 67. They were 11 for 19 on the pass, though. You know, it's not that I guess they were little short passes, unless that's a typo, because completing 11 for 67 yards or 69 yards is kind of low.
Mhm.
But they attempted 19, so they're throwing it in the air too. Apparently not deep, so I think they're maybe using the backs, their athletes, as far as the little wing outs and little screens or something like that. That's my assumption on that.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, what about you, Steve? What are your thoughts on this game? And at halftime, I got it.
11 to
See, it was
12.
11-12. So it's
11
a
to
real
12.
close
And
game.
that game, by the way, they bumped them up to number 7 in the state now.
Yeah. Well, on paper, Smithville, it was a competitive team. Now we did look at the wins that they got, Smithville, and kind of discredited it just a little bit. But you know, Cuero is you know, like you said, their strength of schedule. They played some really tough teams, and you know, having a really great season. They you know, they're a running team. That's what they do, Johnny. They're a running team. And you know, so the passes aren't going to be there. I think if they clean up a little bit, you know, they had 75 yards in penalties. So I think there's some things that they still need to clean up. You know, they had 7 penalties for 75 yards. So I'm sure the coaches will get that cleaned up. And you know, Cuero will continue on their great season thus far. And I really do feel that we're on a collision course, man. I think we are. Sooner or later, you know, we may be running into those guys, and it's good to get as much information on them now. I've watched a lot of tape on them. They've ran the ball, you know, well all year, and this game right here, which had a lot of buildup, right? You know, Smithville came in with a great record, and you know, Cuero just really matched their intensity after the first half. You know, was able to take that initial blow. You know, they came out and they scored 41 points in the second half. So, you know, Cuero turns it up. They know when to do it. So, you know, they're gonna be a tough out for whoever. You know what I'm saying? Us, Sinton, whoever that they run into. It's gonna be a tough out. You know, Cuero's got a tough team this year, and they're back, baby.
Yep. Gabriel, what are your thoughts?
You know, I thought it would be a little bit more competitive. I thought Cuero would win, but I thought it'd be more competitive. But great win for Cuero, and like Steve said, you know, we're on a collision course with these guys in a couple of weeks. So, you know, we'll be paying attention to Cuero, obviously, looking into them on the background and make sure that we try to get as much, see what they run. Not that we're going to go tell the players or the coaches, right? But for our information, we want to know what they've got, and so that we can bring it onto the podcast and see and give our opinions on what we think we need to do to get a win there. But it's going to be a good one. I mean, they're a good team, and we're a good team, so it's going to be exciting. I can't actually wait. So the next couple of weeks will be definitely looking into Cuero and bringing some stuff up on the podcast. But great win for Cuero. They really, it was really for 4 quarters. What that tells me, Tony, is that you're going to have to play Cuero for 4 quarters to win that game. They played
Sure.
4 quarters. So we're going to have to play 4 quarters against it. We can't play 2.5, 3.5. You've got to play a full 4 quarters to beat this team because they, like Steve says, they've been consistent all year with winning, except for that one loss. So, and we'll see what happens. But great win for the Cuero Gobblers. And Steve's actually right. They're back, and that's a dangerous
sir.
team.
Yes, sir. So this next game, this could have been another game of the week in my eyes, just because whoever won this game is going to the playoffs. And this kind of breaks my heart. We had the 2-6 West Oso Bears driving down to Port Isabel, where they get defeated 28-42. This was another game that was close in the half, actually close even in the third, and they really, really just fell apart in the fourth quarter and let Port Isabel jump way ahead of them. Uh, Johnny, what are your thoughts on this game? A game that I mean, we just saw West Oso last week, and we saw how they jumped on Rockport early and made the game. What they were 10 points away from being tied at halftime with Rockport. Excellent game plan against a good football team, a team that they should have lost to. But this team is a team that they could have beat. You know what I mean? Do you think that maybe they didn't go into it with as an effective game plan as they had against Rockport, or what do you think? What do you think happened in this game?
Um, hold on. Let me go back a little bit. We did this prediction for me off air. When I picked Port Isabel, he gave me that look as far as this when I mentioned about West Oso being their first road trip. You gave me that look like, yeah, okay. Just had to throw that in there. We all know that road trip's hard. We mentioned it earlier, and their longest road trip was to Sinton this year.
Yeah.
And that was a 26, 29 miles. That was it. That was the only away game they had to travel. Here they go on 2 hours plus. So we all know that that's been hurting a lot of these teams. But fast forward to this game. Do we even know how many attempts Anthony Pena had against Rockport? Do we remember?
Well, hell, he broke a record, so he had quite a few.
40.
He only had 26 attempts this game.
I don't know why I want to say 40. I think he had 40 attempts. Is that right?
I don't know.
But yeah, what you were mentioning, Tony, it don't sound like they had the same game plan, because I would have sworn I saw more than 26 attempts against Rockport. He had a good game. I mean, 14 of 26 for 229, 2 touchdowns. Elijah Huff, he rushed for 14 carries for 170, 2 touchdowns. He had 3 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. But like you were mentioning, that fourth quarter, man, that's where it fell apart. I mean, it just kept on. And when you're outscored 22-0 in that fourth quarter, yeah, that's just showing that they just couldn't finish it. High hopes. Adrenaline was going for PI, and it's just I've been saying this all year. I just didn't see West Oso winning the big games. Not one big game this year. They won the games that they should have, but the big games that they needed, they just didn't win it. This clinched the playoffs for Port Isabel. They had 409 total yards. They went on the ground with this game for 337. One thing I did see, a little highlights about this game between Rockport and Rockport's defense and Port Isabel's defense. Port Isabel did a lot of 3-down linemen. On these highlights. They got burned on the runs. Of course, they mixed it up. They didn't stay with the same defense the entire game. If you look at the highlights, you see 3, you'll see 4, you'll see 5 on the line. But I think that was 3 down linemen kind of might have hurt their passing because it made them go to the ground. Probably like a change it of the play on the line. Because of course you're going to want to run the ball with 3 down linemen. So I think that had an effect with their passing. I think that was a pretty good game plan by Port Isabel against West Oso. Obviously, they're anticipating pass because you're going against the pass leader of the district, So I think Port Isabel came in there with a good game plan as far as what kind of defense I saw them run.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, Anthony Pena, I don't know how many attempts he had, but he's said 1,900 yards on the season, so he's gonna break 2,000. Remarkable season for that kid. They're not gonna make the playoffs this year, but I mean they had some guys on there that really had great years. Rankin had a great year, Huff had a good year. Anthony Pena definitely had a great year. So, it's something to hang your hat on. It's Coach Smitty's second year there. You could tell that he's building a program. And I think next year they'll be more competitive. I just look forward to seeing what else Coach has to do over there at West Oso and the kind of season they're gonna have next year. But they got a game against Raymondville next week. That's very winnable for them, and I think their goal at this point would be to just go and get that win and end the season on a high note. Gabriel, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I was surprised. I thought West Oso. I first of all, I had West Oso going into the playoffs, and I thought that they could beat Port Isabel. I really did, especially after I had seen them. I picked them before they played Rockport, and then after Rockport, I was for sure. But we talk about the game plan that they put. This game didn't get away from West Oso until the fourth quarter. So something happened in that fourth quarter, like Johnny said. You scored 22. West Oso couldn't score nothing. So something happened. I don't know if it was turnovers. I didn't really pay attention or look enough into the game to see what happened. But I did know that they scored. It got away from West Oso. And one thing I think that we have to, when it comes to West Oso, that we have to talk about is that, like Johnny makes a good point. All season long, they have not been able to put it together for 4 quarters. And that's why they lost. A very talented team out there. And Coach Smithy has done a great job with them. It's just they've made strides. They've been really good. They just have not been able to put it together for 4 quarters. They had some turnover issues. They got that taken care of. And then they go down there, and then they lose it. So I'm sure it's very disheartening for this team, all the work that they put in, the coaches, to not be able to make the playoffs because they're out now. But that don't take away from what they built this year. And I still think West Oso, they're going to lose their quarterback. So I don't know who they've got coming up, but it's a very talented team. They'll be contenders next year too, no matter where we go. We'll see if they're in our district or not next year because of the realignment. But I was very shocked, T, that they didn't pull the win out. I know that it's a trip down there they've got to make, but you got to win that game. Your season's on the line. You can get to the playoffs. So I don't think that they're going to come out and say, well, there was anything with the ride, even though it may have an effect. They just didn't finish it out. They had a chance to win, and then they got to the fourth quarter. Something happened where, they let Port Isabel score, over 20 points, and they couldn't get nothing done. And that's when the game got away. Because I remember I was keeping tabs on it, and it was pretty close. And all of a sudden, it was like, whoa, man, they just went up like 2+ touchdowns. What happened here? So it's been something I think that Coach Smithy will think about and work on for next year is playing 4 quarters. But the talent is definitely there. So wherever they're at next year, they'll be contending next year. But great season for the West Oso Bears, even though they won't be going to the postseason, man. And their record wasn't good. Those guys were a lot better than what their record's going to end up showing when the season's over.
Yeah. I did talk to somebody who was at the game, and they said that in the fourth quarter they had 2 back-to-back onside kick recoveries, which I mean, that changes the game. I don't know that Port Isabel needed to do it twice, but they did it twice and they recovered twice and they scored twice. So yeah, that was one of the things that happened to West Oso, and that really put the nail in the coffin for them. Steve, did I go to you on this game already?
No, not yet. But hey, that's not out of the norm, right? Because we talked about when Rockport played PI, is that's part of their game, that onside kick. We said that going into that game. Hey, we better keep our eye on the onside kick because that's something that Port Isabel does well, and they're effective at it. And it's a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Especially late in the game like that when they don't need to, is when that's the best time to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to give this other team momentum and let them back in the game. And as far as their defense, it absolutely PI deserves all the credit in having an effective game plan for Pena. Pena had 41 completions against Rockport on 65 attempts, right? So that's, that's almost triple, right? I mean, they really, really shut down the pass. They really took that away from them. And, I don't know how effective, why it should be so effective, because I mean, obviously you're only gaining one more guy and you got to either put him on the right side or the left side. I hate you, man. I put my head down for 1 second. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So how that shut them down, because they got two effective guys. They got Rankin on the right side, left side, and then they got Huff coming out of the backfield on those search screens. And that's where they killed Rockport, was on those little dump passes to Huff and little short screen passes to Rankin, and then, lull you to sleep and then go deep on you. So I think all credit needs to go to PI, you know what I'm saying, on their game plan and neutralizing Pena, and how many pass attempts that they allowed him to get off. So yeah, hats off to PI, man. So Johnny was the only one that got those 4 picks right. You know what I'm saying? We are all, I had West Oso too, and Johnny got it right. So what's the prize for getting all 4 picks? I seen that come across. Nobody answered, Johnny.
Attaboy.
Attaboy,
A
Johnny.
triple me or something.
No, but West Oso was winning that game for most of the game. So when I picked West Oso to make the playoffs, they still should have. I mean, they didn't. So I guess we can't really use that, but I mean, definitely a winnable game for them. Definitely. And when the wheels fall off in the fourth quarter, you don't have another quarter to catch up. So, Gabe, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that about the Gridiron. I'm gonna say they better bring Verlander back next year and McCullers, man, because this pitchies that they got here, the starters, the bullpen's good.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
I understand that, but the pitching, that starting pitching, hasn't been there. You're not gonna win a World Series with your starters like that, man. So I'm telling you right now, Verlander's healthy. They better sign Verlander back, man.
Will Smith.
They better not let Verlander go. If he's healthy and he can come back, the bullpen's going to be there. They need some starting. These pitchers are
Come
still
on,
young.
man.
They can't.
All right.
Verlander's 95 years old, bro. We need to see if we can get anything for him already.
He's still better than these guys. Look at the way these guys are pitching. If it went for the bullpen and the way we score, these guys, these starters haven't done nothing. What have they done? They haven't done nothing. They can't even go 5, 6, 7 innings.
No, this is already.
So Verlander could be old, but Verlander could at least go 7, 8 McCullers in them. So you're going to have to do something to upgrade these pitchers. You can't get into the World Series again and win it with these guys. The way the starting pitching is, the way they're pitching, it ain't going to happen.
They need to bring the Rocket back. I'm pretty sure in retirement he could do a better job. I mean, I seen him at 40 years old, go 7 innings. So
that's right. People have been telling me about Verlander. Shoot, man, that boy, if he's healthy, I'd still bring him back for another 2 years. He can still pitch.
Well, the Astros should have never got rid of
It's upsetting that they give up these home runs, man. It just is.
All right.
Anyway, I'm sorry. We're going to Gridiron. I just
moving back to the Gridiron. So the last game that we have to talk about is our state game. We had the number 13 Orangefield Bobcats taking on the Hampshire Longhorns, the number 17 Hampshire Longhorns. In this game, the number 17 Longhorns take the win over the number 13 Bobcats by a score of 20-13. So in this game, we were all wrong. I don't know if anyone has anything to say about this game, but because we really don't know these teams, we just pick what we think is going to be a good matchup. Oh, my bad. It was 28-35. I was looking at the last year's score. Last year, when these two teams faced off, it was 20-13 in overtime, where Orangeville takes the win. This year, Hampshire takes the win by a touchdown, 35-28. Anybody want to say anything about this game?
I want to say that we were talking about you need to have a passing game to go into the playoffs. Orangeville had 0 yards passing. I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're playing a big game like that, you're gonna have to get in the air.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing to say about this game is, when you ask any coach or any player, what they think about that ranking, they always say, "Oh, that's the number." We don't think too much about it. This is one of those situations where number 17 team comes in and beats a number 13 team. This is where you say, yeah, we don't really look at those numbers, and they go in and they get a win like that. So hats off to the Longhorns for getting that win. Anybody else
Yeah,
before we move on
no,
to the predictions?
yeah, no, like you, I didn't do much research on this game. It was a little bit too far out for me, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did look at both of their preseason games, and that's how I figured Orangeville was going to win, and I think that they were probably on
Much
paper the
bigger.
better team. On paper, the better team, but Longhorns wanted to win that game. Gabriel, you good on this game? You want to talk about it? You want me to move on to the predictions?
Let's go ahead and move on
MVP,
um,
MVP.
to the
Cállate el
predictions.
hocico, Johnny.
We won't take a break, guys. Let's just go ahead and go straight into it. It's almost gonna be 9 o'clock, but no, I've got nothing to say around about stake here. I lost, right?
Yeah, we all did. We all picked the number 13 Bobcats, and they ended up losing. So
Yeah, no, go ahead, Tony. Let's go to the week 11 preview.
okay, and I'll have the tally of what our record is tomorrow when we come on. I didn't do that before we came on, so I'll have that tomorrow. So first game we got on our predictions for week 11. And we'll just brush by this really fast, yeah, unless you got something to say about the game. We got the Port Isabel with the Tarpons, who just clinched the playoff spot, taking on the Rockport Pirates. They're gonna drive down here to Rockport. Uh, Johnny, who do you got?
Dude, I don't know, but all I gotta say is I circle PI, but yeah, Rockport.
Steve?
What? So who's keeping score here? Who's writing these down? You writing them down, Tony?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, that's quite a bit, right? So, all right, no, I'm gonna go with Rockport, man. I'm gonna go with Rockport big. Uh, it's gonna be we got a large senior class that's gonna be going out this year, and it's gonna be their last home game,
Yep.
and it's gonna be special. The house is gonna be rocking, and I really wish that we had the matchup that Ingleside has this week, and we saved Sinton for our last home game, because that would have been special. But nonetheless, line them up. PI is going to be the one. Then they're going to be the one that takes the fall. Man, I got Rockport huge in this game.
Now this is actually a good game for Port Isabel to take on Rockport as their last game, because they get a taste of a playoff caliber team at the end before they actually end the playoffs next week, because they'll be taking on, if they're taking on district, are they also taking on District 15 as well, or 14, whatever it is, the one that we're
Yeah.
taking on? So they
Well,
got the undefeated Carrizo Spring Bobcats next next week. So yeah, it's a good thing for them. They get to play Rockport for the last game. Gabriel?
No, Rockport will win big. I mean, it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be close at all. And like Steve said, these guys are playing. It's going to be emotional. It's their last game, so yeah, I expect Rockport to win big.
Um, Johnny, I know you picked them, but did you want to say anything about the game?
no.
Okay. Well, I want to say something real quick. I think that Rockport really needs to, like Steve said, they need to end this game with a bang, because man, after what I saw last week, kind of kind of worries me about the playoffs because it was so much things that needed to get cleaned up, and this is one of those games where they should have done it against Robstown and they didn't. So hopefully they fix all those things for the playoffs, and they have a really good game. And I hope those seniors, you know, they probably don't know it yet, but when you play your last game on your home field, boy, I tell you what, it touches you in a different way. So hopefully they go all out, man.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Next game we have the Orange Grove Bulldogs taking on the Aransas Pass Panthers. Johnny, who do you got?
I'm going with Orange Grove. We saw how Aransas was at the beginning of the season, so Orange Grove easily on this one.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's their last game too. Steve, who do you got, Steve?
Hey man, I'm just excited to be talking about AP here. I've been wanting AP on the podcast for since that first game. I think they only made one appearance thus far. But yeah, no, I'm going to Orange Grove as well. I'm going to go with Orange Grove as well in this
I
one,
thought it was
man.
leading up to something.
Yeah, no, man. I'm going to go with Orange Grove. I'm not blind, but you know what I'm saying? Let's just hope for a good game. You know, I want those boys to, I mean, they've had a rough season thus far. You know, Orange Grove is not the easiest opponent to end a season with, you know, without a doubt. You know, they're going to be throwing the ball around and looking to pass the ball quite a bit. So hopefully Aransas Pass, you know, puts up a good fight, man. I think those boys deserve it. You know what I'm saying? To go out, like you said, all these games are final games and all last games for these seniors, and it's big, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully it's a nice competitive game and Orange Grove squeeze out a victory.
All righty. Gabe, who do you got?
I'm going with Orange Grove, but I did want to talk about Aransas. It's been a tough season for them. You know, they got a new coach. It hasn't only been, you know, tough for the fans out there in AP, right? But for the coaching staff, a lot of them are new this year, a new head coach. And then the players, you always feel bad for the players because they go out there all season like all the other teams and they practice hard all week, put in the time, and it's hard if you lose this game and you don't even get one victory, right? So it's been tough for Aransas Pass. Hopefully, you know, next year, you know, with the coach, be able to get a full season, off season to be able to put his system in and see these guys. They're our neighbors, man. And even though we compete with them, you know, you definitely want to see them win a game or two. And that's probably not going to happen this year. So, you know, it's been hard, but, you know, the boys go out there and they play and continue to play hard. Hopefully they'll continue to play hard and somehow get this win over Orange Grove. But if you don't keep your heads up, you know, hopefully they continue to work hard this offseason and next year's a new year. And hopefully they'll come back, you know, and we'll see. We'll play them in our schedule. We usually play them, but we'll see what happens next year. And hopefully, and I anticipate that they'll do better next year. But it's been a tough season actually this year for the Panthers. So hopefully they'll get back on track next year.
All right. So the next game that we have the King Mustangs taking on the Carroll Tigers. Steve, who do you got? I'll go to you first. So see if Johnny wants to piggyback off of you.
Hold on. I'm going to flip a coin right here. Damn. Shoot. I'm going to go with Carroll.
Wow. You're going to go with Carroll. All right.
I'm going to go with Carroll.
Johnny, who do you got? Carroll or King?
I'm rooting for Carroll, but King's going to pull it.
Just go for Carroll then.
You're not going to catch me, Johnny. You're not going to catch me.
Gabriel, who do you got?
I've got King. Hey, Carroll hasn't won a game this year, have they?
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
taking
tough.
all the, oh, you better
But,
stand apart. Okay.
But I'm gonna, yeah, but I'm going with King.
All right. Oh, just real quick, guys. I didn't tell you my picks. I don't know if any of y'all are keeping track, but I had Rockport, I had Orange Grove, and I had King. So just in case any of y'all are keeping track as well.
I'm the only one. This is a 2-pointer.
2-pointer.
So next game we got the Alice Coyotes playing at home against the Tuloso-Midway. Gabriel, I'm gonna go to you first. Who do you got?
I think with the polls already up on the Gridiron 64 Facebook page tomorrow or late tonight, but tomorrow morning they'll be on our Twitter. But I'm gonna go with Alice. Yeah, I just think yeah, and TM may get their first win because the way Alice has been playing lately has not been playing the way I thought Alice, has the capability to play down there. I think a lot of the air has been sucked out of them since they didn't make the playoffs. But I think they're still the better team between both of these teams. So I'm looking for Alice to get the final win. Hopefully they get a good win and they can build on this last game for next year. But it's just, I didn't think Tony was going to make the playoffs this year. We played against them and we saw, they're one dimensional on offense where they can just run the ball. They really can't pass a lot. The passing is no threat. So teams are going to try to stop the run on them. The defense is okay. But the offense is, I think, where they struggled this year, Tuloso-Midway. I thought Alice definitely is a lot better than their record. I still believe that. So I think Alice is going to come into this game and they're going to beat Tuloso-Midway. And hopefully they can build on this win that they're going to get for next year. But I'd be shocked if TM gets the win over Alice. So I'm taking the Coyotes.
All righty. We got the Westoso Bears, the 2-7
Hey, you didn't take my
Westoso.
pick.
Yeah.
You didn't take my picks.
You didn't go.
Oh,
You didn't go.
shoot.
You didn't go to Johnny. and
My
Steve.
bad. My bad. I'm going down and getting records. My bad. Okay, so
Who you taking, Johnny?
I'm taking
Johnny,
Alice.
who do you got?
Alice.
Steve?
Man. No, I'm gonna go with Dallas.
All right. So I also picked Alice for y'all who are
Okay.
keeping tabs. So the next game, this is the Battle of the 81s. We got the Sinton Pirates coming into Ingleside to take on the Mustangs, the 81 Mustangs. This will really shake up the district if Ingleside wins this game. Who got Ingleside win this game? Johnny, who do you got?
Be rooting for him, but Sin's gonna take it.
All right. Steve, do you think Ingleside could pull this one off?
No, I got some other games down here that I'm gonna pick upset specials on. Because I gotta catch up, right? This layout is tailor made for last to first. So this is what you guys made it official. So this is where I'm gonna catch up. But it won't be on this game. I'm gonna take Sinton.
All right. And you don't know. I mean, you don't know. They're coming into Ingleside.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gabriel, who do you got? Sinton or Ingleside? You think they're gonna be able to pull it off?
No, I don't.
No.
Listen, and for this reason, I think Ingleside's defense can run. I don't know through 4 quarters, but they'll be able to get some stops on that Sinton offense. I think their defense is pretty good. Not for 4 quarters, but I think they can make some noise. Ingleside's defense to Sinton's offense, but I don't think that Sinton's offense is going to be able to move the ball on that defense. Now, I could be mistaken, but the way I've seen Sinton play, Sinton's defense has played tough all year. They played tough against us, against a really good offense that can throw the ball and run the ball with multiple players. And we saw firsthand how good that Sinton defense is. And then I think also, you've got to try to find a way to score a lot of points. I just think it's hard to score on that Sinton defense. No one's been able to do it. Now, you never know. Ingleside can throw the ball too. So we'll see what kind of game plan Coach Hamrick has. But I can tell you this, Tony, I'm going to go with Sinton. But if Ingleside can move the ball effectively, and keep, get a couple of first downs and take about 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes off the clock, then this game becomes interesting. But if they can't do that, if it's 3 and out, and that's the key to beating Sinton is because they've got such an explosive offense. To me, their offense is stoppable. I mean, they can throw the ball. If your defense is good, you can stop the run. It's hard to stop the run and the pass, and Sinton can do both. But I think Ingleside's defense would be able to play with them. I'm just not sure that the offense can move the ball and score enough points on that Sinton defense to get the win. So that's why I'm taking Sinton.
If Ingleside goes into the game with the mindset we're going to match point for point, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Ingleside's got to come in with the mentality of we got to pound the ball. We got to win the possession game, right? We got to keep the ball out of the offense's hand. If they do that, if they look to strike first and score quick and this and that, Sinton's going to run away. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be tough for Ingleside to match point for point. Now, if they come in with a game plan that we're just going to try to keep the offense off the field and slow the game down, now that is a winning game plan. I think if Ingleside can do that effectively, which is going to be tough to do, you know what I'm saying, to run constantly on that defense. But if they come in with that mindset that we're just going to pound the ball, 3 yards at a time, 4 yards at a time, and really keep the offense off the field, now that's a plan of attack Ingleside needs to have. They cannot go into the game plan thinking they're going to match blow for blow with the Galvans. They got to slow the game down.
Yeah, and look, Tony, and here's the thing, guys, is I think you can stop or not completely stop Sinton from scoring, but you can slow them down like Rockport did, and you stay in the game, right? Like you stay in the game. We were in that game the whole 4 quarters. It came down to the last play. So defensively, you can slow Sinton down. It's not like they're that explosive. Now they can run and they can pass. They got multiple runners, and what really makes them dangerous, their quarterback can run. So there's a lot of things that they can do, but you can't slow them down. It's their defense that's been surprising to me. Sinton's defense does not give up a lot of points. Now Miller scored a lot of points. Now I heard that they had a lot of their players out. I don't know how true that is, but they're the only team that really scored the 30-plus points on them this year. Outside of that, they've really shut them down. That's been the surprise for me. But for Ingleside, like Steve says, they've got to slow the game down. If you want to go and match point for point, it's not going to happen. But you got to look at that Miller game, I think, if you're Ingleside. And what was Miller able to do to move and score 30 points? And that's what I would do, And now Miller passed on them a lot. They were able to do that. But I think, Tony, that Sinton has gotten better since that Miller's game. The Sinton team that you have now versus they played at Miller, I think they're a lot better defensively, not offensively, but defensively. That defense in Sinton is better today than they were. They've improved a lot since they played Miller back at the beginning of the season. So for me, that's what would have to happen. And then you can't turn the ball over, can't get penalties. Those are things that also kill drives. So I just think it'll be too much this year for Ingleside to be Sinton, but that's why you play the game. You never know. But I'm taking the Pirates.
Yeah, well, I will say that I don't know how many people are out in Sinton, but I know one of the guys that cuts my hair in Corpus told me his son was out. He's the one of the defensive linemen on that Sinton defense, so he's out for the season. So that number, I think he was number 88, Stewart. And he was in our face a lot.
Oh,
when
Stewart,
we
that's
played
that. Yeah, that's that pitcher. That's that. He's not a pitcher. I think he's a pitcher, but he's a first baseman. I seen him. He's an important part
Yeah.
of their piece of their run. So hopefully, he'll be healthy, and if he can't come back for football, he'll be back for baseball because they'll definitely need this kid. I watched him play baseball last year. Hell of a baseball player.
Yeah,
Wow.
so he's out for the season in football. So I know that Ingleside has one has a little bit of air, I guess. I don't know if you want to say that, because Sinton is still really good. So next game we have these two. Oh, and I had Sinton as well, y'all. The next game we have these two teams just playing for pride. We have the Raymondville Bearkats, the 3-6 Raymondville Bearkats coming down to the Bear Den at West Oso to take on the 2-7 West Oso Bears. Johnny, who do you got in this game?
I think West Oso is going to finish off the season with the win, so I'm going with West Oso.
All right, Steve, who do you got?
I'm taking Raymondville in this one.
Woo! So he never thought Westoso
Won't
was
be
gonna
last
be
no
that.
more.
No, it doesn't matter now. I'm
It
picking
doesn't
against them
matter
now
now.
because they're out. I knew you were gonna say that. You never believed in them.
That's what that means, right, Johnny? Gabe, who do you got, Gabe?
I think this is going to be an interesting game. Both of them are out of the playoffs. They're just playing for pride and trying to finish out the season with a win. I think like we talk about the traveling up there for the guys, you get kind of sluggish, when you start the game. I think it goes that way when they come down and have to make that drive down here. I think, and you got to remember, I think Raymondville and Rio Hondo played a close one with Rio Hondo, I think took that game and beat Raymondville. So listen, I think, I think Westoso is going to come in. They want to get a win. Obviously, I think they're the better team on paper with the quarterback that they got. So I think they'll get it together. And I'm going to go with the Westoso Bears. But I think it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, I think that drive does affect them as well. I also did pick Westoso. I think it's gonna be a good game. But I think Westoso will do really good at home against the Raymondville. Next game we have the 2-7 Robstown Cotton Pickers taking on the 3-6 Rio Hondo. I'm not really sure what Rio Hondo is, but Rio Hondo.
Bobcats.
Bobcats. All right. Who do you got, Johnny?
I'm going with Rio Hondo.
Alrighty. Steve, who do you got in this game?
Taking Robstown.
All right. Making it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe, who do you got in this one?
No, I'm taking Rio Hondo.
Alrighty. I am also taking Rio Hondo, even though I felt like Robstown, I mean, they didn't look terrible. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna beat Rio Hondo. Though they did score 40 points on Port Isabel, so now I don't know. I'm on the
Mhm.
fence.
Talk yourself out of it. Talk yourself out of it.
But then Rio Hondo scored 21 points against Rockport. Yeah, I'm going with Rio Hondo. Um, all right, we got okay. This game could go either way. This game could change the fate of the district championship for Veterans Memorial. We got the 8-1 Veterans Memorial Eagles taking off the Victoria West Warriors. Gabriel, I'm gonna go to you first. Who do you think's gonna win this game?
I'm going with Coach Bittner and the Vets. I know this is going to be a really good one, and it can go either way. But I think Vets are going to come out. This loss that they had, it's been bothering them. It couldn't have settled in. It was shocking one, and I think they're going to come out and they're going to prove. And they've got something to play for, Tony. They've got the districts on the line for them. That means a lot to both teams, obviously, right? But I think Vets wants it because it's also for seeding purposes easy. It's an easier road to the playoffs for them. So this was a shocker. I really believe that, and I'm not going to take anything away from the win of Florida Bluff because they played a hell of a game. A very talented team out there in Florida Bluff. But I don't really think that the Vets thought that they didn't come in, I think, focused and ready. Now, that's just me. I didn't go to the game and I didn't talk to any other players. But I thought that they could have played better than we know that Vets is better than what the score showed when they lost to Florida Bluff. They play this Friday, it might be a different story. But here comes a tougher team, and they've got to be real careful. But I still believe that Vets is the better team over Victoria, so I'm going to stick with the Eagles.
All right. Johnny, do you think Victoria West is remember, I didn't say this. Veterans Memorial will be traveling to Victoria. I know it's not as long a ride as coming from the valley, but it's still a long ride. Johnny, who do you got?
Okay, look this up for me. Who won between West and Flower Bluff?
West and Florida. Let me see. Tell you right now.
They lost.
Victoria.
Flower Bluff won.
Yeah, 66-13. They got toe up.
They
Okay.
did.
All right, so I'm going to easily go with the vets, with vets, Veterans Memorial.
That was their first district game. You know, Victoria West progressively got better. Just saying.
Memorial.
All right, Steve, you still trying to catch up, or
Oh
what do
yeah.
you?
No, listen. Hey, Victoria West is on a 3-game winning streak here, man. I think they've got it figured out, and they're scoring some points. I mean, with that being said, it was over Ray, Moody, and Carroll, but
Hey,
nonetheless,
Moody's not terrible. Moody's not terrible.
yeah, it was a tough game. But yeah, no, you know what? I'm going with Victoria on this one, man. I'm gonna make my move, baby. From worst to first.
All right, let me see. Where am I at? All right, I'm gonna side with the other guys, and I'm gonna take the Eagles. All right. We next game we got the Gregory Portland Wildcats traveling to Corpus to take on the Ray Texans. Johnny, who do you got in this one?
Man, I must have been falling asleep doing these. I circled both of them on this one, but I'm gonna go with GP. I'm going with GP with this one.
I gotta go with. I get to pick. If you circle both of them, I get to pick. I'm gonna go ahead and put you down for Ray. Steve, who do you got? Steve, are you gonna try to catch up on this one too?
Negative, Ghost Rider. Hey, I'm in on the GP bandwagon, baby. I'm right with GP on this one.
All right, Gabriel.
GP.
All right. I also have GP on this one as well. Remember, I did say after the first or second week that I think GP could possibly be number 2 in this district. So now they could possibly be number 1 if with a loss to Victoria West. So we'll see. GP has really turned around from last season to this season. So definitely gonna go with GP on this one. Big. And it should be. This is a game that I think could go either way. Um, I'm not really sure, Johnny. I didn't look that much into it. I know you say you didn't either, but do you know if the 4th seed is locked in for that district?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, because I think they all have about the same amount of losses, West, East, and Moody. So that's what I'm saying. I wasn't sure if it was in the books yet
I believe Moody was
because
out last week.
Moody was out last week, even if they beat East.
I think that's what I said, right?
Okay. Because they're both 5-4, and I think they both have 3 losses. They both have 3 losses in district, and if West loses tomorrow, they have 3 losses in district as well. So that's why I didn't know if 4th seed was in the books yet. Either way, I imagine if Victoria East wins this game, they become 4th because I think they beat West. So we'll see. But nonetheless, Victoria East will be traveling to Corpus to take on Moody. They're both sitting at 5-4. Johnny, who are you gonna take?
I'm going with East.
Alrighty. Steve, who do you got, Steve? This game could go either way. Remember that.
Yeah. East is on a pretty good little run. You know, they beat King. They had a close game against GP, lost 20-17, and then they beat Ray 56-33. So they got a little momentum going, I think. And I'm gonna go with East.
All right. Hey, bro, who do you got on this one?
I'm going with Victoria East as well.
Alrighty. I also am going. Wait. I'm also going with East as well. Though, like I said, I do believe that this game can go either way. Victoria does have to come down here. I imagine Moody will have a large crowd, and I believe that team will play for that crowd. And again, we talk about it being the last game for the seniors. Especially if they didn't make it, especially if they're out of the playoffs. They're playing for pride at this point. So we shall see. I think it'll be a good one. Nonetheless, I'm going with Victoria East. Next game we got the 6-3 Miller Bucks taking on the Beeville Trojans, the 4-5 Beeville Trojans. The Trojans will be traveling to Miller for this game. Steve, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Miller on a lock pick right here. Um, they're they're playing well, and I think Beeville's struggling a little bit to end the season. So I'm gonna ride with Miller.
All righty. Johnny, who do you got, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm going strongly with Miller.
Strongly. Remember this game last year was a high scoring affair where uh you know Miller just outscored them because it was like 80 something, 70 something or something like that. It was a really high scoring game last year. It was also the last game of the season for both of them. Um, Gabriel, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Miller too. I think they're running Greenwood now a lot too, so that's another weapon they've got that they need with the pass. So I think Miller's offense would be too much for Beeville's defense, and so I look for Miller to win. I take this game this year.
All righty. I also picked Miller. I was just trying to make y'all pick Beeville, but that didn't work. All right. Uh, we got the 5-3 Calhoun Sandcrabs traveling to Calallen to take on the 8-1 Wildcats. Um, Gabriel, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Calallen, of course, like I did last year. But I don't think this game's gonna be close, like most people think. Calallen's gonna be able to shut that Calhoun run game down, and we know that Calhoun doesn't pass very much. So, because Calhoun basically, we're gonna run, run, run. You've got to stop it. And I think this defense for Calallen will be able to stop that run. So I think Calallen will win 2+ touchdowns.
Okay, all right. So remember both of these two teams, we talked about Calallen having a few passes the last game. And we also talk about Porlavaca or Calhoun who doesn't pass a whole lot as well. So this is gonna be a battle of the defense. Who can stop the run? So we shall see what happens. Johnny, who do you got?
With Miller scoring 33 points on Cal, Jaden Brown having 200 yards rushing. I mean, passing. Ethan Greenwood, 13 carries for 54 yards. Damn.
I mean, Flower Bluff just upset state ranked Veterans Memorial. So I mean it's not in the bag for Carolina. I don't know about 2+ scores. I don't know about that one.
2, 3. You know what?
Do it. Do it.
I think if Ethan Greenwood would have had more than 13 carries, Miller would have beat Calhoun.
That's what I said. I said that.
And he did have 4 yards of carry, which that's all you need to win a game to keep that ball away from Calhoun.
I said that.
But they were going to the ground, they were going to the air, trying to compete with Calhoun, and that gave the ball back right to Calhoun right away. So Calhoun had the ball most of that game. I think I think Calhoun backs are better linemen than Miller is on a run attack. I'm going to go with Calhoun with this.
this is where he jumps to the front, Steve. This is where he jumps to the front. Who you got, Steve? You heard both cases.
No, I'm gonna ride with Johnny. I'm gonna ride with Johnny. I had my mind made up long before Johnny. Johnny is still pondering. I'm
I
going.
had Calhoun circled. I had Calhoun circled, but
He's got everybody circled.
Hey, but I will say that I said that, Johnny. I don't know if you were on that breakdown, but I did say that because the week before Miller played Calallen, they played was it Port Lavaca, or they played somebody, and we were like, man, it said he has 54 carries or something like that. Is that even possible? We were talking about that.
Mhm,
And then we look at the Calallen game and said he only carried the ball 13 times.
mhm.
And when we predicted that game, I said, I'm going for Calallen, but if Greenwood gets the ball, they have a potential to win that game. And he only got 13 carries and they lost. So, and they didn't lose by much. But I think that was the deciding factor in that game. Anyways, I am going with Calallen. So we're splitting the difference here. Me and Gabriel are going with Calallen, and Steve and Johnny are going for Calhoun. I think it's going to be a better game. Gabriel thinks it's going to be a blowout, at least by two touchdowns. I don't know about that one, but I hope that it's at least a competitive game. Next game we got the Taft Greyhounds traveling to Skidmore to take on the Bobcats.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony. Hold up. Let me get this straight. These two guys on this side are picking Calhoun over Calallen.
Hey, I did that last year. I did that last year. I lost.
You want to give us double points on it?
And you think that Greenwood, okay, a guy that they hadn't been using, because you're talking about Miller and Greenwood is he's a good running back, and I think it's another asset. But I don't think that they would have beaten. We're never going to know, right? Johnny thinks they would have beaten them. I don't think that they would have. I think Calhoun defense is better because you
just gave the ball back to Callan a lot of times, but stopping that clock for every incompletion, for every first down completion, that clock stopped and stopped and stopped. They gave the Callan ball back right away.
Yeah, but I don't.
For them to score the 55 point. But if you run the ball, that clock keeps running. You run the ball, get 3-4 yards a game. You run the ball 3-4 yards.
Calallen was going to make the adjustment.
You'll take 3 minutes off the clock off of 2 first downs compared to 2 completions and still don't take a minute off the clock.
I understand now I know what you're saying, but do you think that Miller, Rockport runs the ball a lot and couldn't beat Sinton. They make the adjustments. I understand what you're saying. It's a good way of keeping Calallen off the field if you score, if you take 3-4 minutes off, but you got to score. I still think Calallen's defense is still better than Miller's offense. I don't think if you go run, you're going to win. And I don't think Justin Evans believes that, because if he does, he would have ran him 50 times. I think Calallen, they might have scored 1, maybe 2 touchdowns with Greenwood, but Calallen would have adjusted to that run and been able to. They weren't going to run all over him. So I still think Calallen's offense is better than Miller's defense. I know that they probably don't score a lot of points. It's probably a lot closer because you keep the ball out of Calallen's hands. But I don't think that that's necessarily the recipe that's going to beat a really good Calallen defense. And then Miller's defense hasn't been that good to stop Calallen's offense. So I don't think even if they do that, it might be closer, but I don't think they beat them. And I don't think Calhoun can beat Calallen either, because that run, they were better last year with those running backs that they had. And I saw that game last year. It wasn't even close. Calallen shut that run game in Port Lavaca completely.
But they only used 2 backs last year. This year they're using 4.
Yeah, but it does. Look at their record.
So it's like, if 2 of those bottom guys running the ball had the running attacks yards with the other 2 guys, those 2 guys will be up there in yards too.
Yeah, but you can have 4, you can have 6. If that line can't block for you, it doesn't matter if you have 8 running backs. You ain't gonna do it. It's that line. That's what I'm saying to you. That line for Calhoun to beat Calallen, it's not about the backs as much as that line for Calallen for Calhoun has to dominate that D line for Calallen. That's the question. Do you think that Calhoun offensive line for 4 quarters can dominate Calallen? If they can, then absolutely you have a really good chance of beating Calallen. I don't think that Calhoun, in my opinion, is going to be able to dominate Calallen's defense. And that's why it doesn't matter if they have 4 running backs. It comes to that offensive line. Can they dominate the defense? If they can do that, then absolutely. Outside of that, Calallen's going to win it, I think.
For me, it's weapons versus weapons, and Calallen only has one. You know, the quarterback is not throwing the ball a whole lot at all. You know, if your game plan is to stop Epi, then and that's what you try to do, then you win that game. You know what I mean? But Calallen has to say we gotta stop him, and him. You know, it really makes it more difficult to decide who to stop. I think defensively Calallen's better, but I don't think Calallen is a lot better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You switching
right.
your
I
pick?
agree.
So no,
Yeah.
I'm not switching my pick. I still think Calallen's gonna win.
No,
But
he-
I
he-
don't think
he-
they're gonna. I don't think Calallen's gonna win by more than 2 touchdowns. I really don't. I think the game's
Oh,
gonna
I
be
think they're going to
close.
dominate Calhoun. I think they're going to dominate him because, hey, that kid Epi, he's got that. Cal Allen's never really been about big running backs. I've seen them go far in the playoffs with no name backs. It's always been their offensive line that opens up holes for these guys. And it ain't going to be no different this year. Unless Cal Allen absolutely falls apart, they should win this game. They're the better team. They should win 2+. They should. We'll see what happens. I'll be very shocked, guys, if Calhoun beats Cal Allen. I will.
Hey, they only scored 33 points against Tuloso-Midway. Calallen did, so it's you know what I mean. That raises a red flag for me.
Does it raise it
So
enough for you to jump ship?
yeah,
I didn't think so. You're smart.
Port Lavaca scored
Hey, you
49
never know.
points.
You never know.
Well, just like we didn't put much thought of the Vets and Farm Bluff game. You know, that was, yeah. Let's check that one off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but here's the difference. The
Yeah,
difference here.
the Vets are higher classification.
No,
higher rank.
no, but I mean, Flower Bluff is in their same district. But what I'm saying is, we knew that Flower Bluff was a better team. But Flower Bluff has a great quarterback. They just haven't put it together. I don't think Calhoun is as good as Flower Bluff in playing vets. Calallen being vets. They've got the running backs, but they have not been able to dominate Calallen. And I think last year they got tore up. I don't think Calhoun got better this year, much better than last year, to be able to beat a team like Calallen that still is good this year, I think, as they were last year. They just couldn't pass. The speed last year with LBJ killed them. But I think it's going to really come down to Calallen's defense against Calhoun's offense. I think Calallen's defense is better.
Okay. Well, we shall see. Should be a good
You've
matchup.
already got it, Johnny. You've already got it.
Hey, calmate. I seen the Astros score 7 points in 1 inning. Calm down.
That ain't gonna happen.
I have faith.
I'll wait for
So
Steve.
what about this
What's up, Steve?
Taft and Skidmore?
Taft should win that game against Skidmore. I don't think it's going to be a good one. You know, Skidmore, I don't know what their record is now, but they're usually pretty competitive in football.
They're
Some
5
years
and they're 5-3. They're 5-3
Yeah.
this year. They are
Skidmore's
playing
trying to
some
fight for that
competitive
number
ball.
4 spot.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. I still think Taft will pull it out, but this going to be a dogfight for both teams. But I'm going to ride with Taft. I've been with Taft this whole time, so I'm not going to change now. But I think this is going to be a good one. I think they're playing in Skidmore, aren't they?
They are playing in Skidmore.
Yeah, this could be a good one. But I'm going to ride with Taft. But definitely going to be a good game.
All right, Johnny. What about you, Johnny? What are your thoughts on this game? Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Taft.
Taft?
Yeah.
Steve, are you gonna try to get ahead on this one?
Who you picking?
I got Taft, man.
Taft. Skidmore's 2-3 in district. You guys trying
Taff
to
ain't
pull
much better.
They gotta win. They gotta win.
Taff ain't much better.
Taff is 3-2. Skidmore's 2-3. Skidmore's already played the tough teams that Taft's played. That's why the record is what it shows. So uh this is where we're
Skidmore's
at right
going.
now.
Skidmore's hungry.
Skidmore has to win to get in. They have to. Taft's already in, but Skidmore has to win to get in because they're going against Banchetti for that number 4 spot.
Yep.
I just figured out how to look that up.
So the score between Taft and Odem, so the game I'm looking at, was 28-7, and it was 21-7 for Skidmore. Not much better, but better nonetheless. Banchetti, man, I don't know. I'm gonna take Skidmore. They even played Hebbronville tough. 35-28.
Yeah, I can see Skidmore beating Taft if Taft don't come in with their A game. I can.
Yeah, and to all my friends over in Taft, right now it's just clearly about me trying to catch these guys. There's nothing personal. I'm still, I still support the Greyhounds, but it's clearly based on trying to catch Este Gabriel over here. So please don't ban me. Please don't ban me from the park.
All right, this next game. This is our game of the week. We got the 8-0 London Pirates hosting the 8-0 San Diego Vaqueros. This is district championship. This is for undefeated season. Both these teams got a lot riding on this. But again, San Diego will be traveling to London for this game. Johnny, I'm interested to see who you got on this game. I already know who Gabriel has. He already said who he's riding with. I don't know. I don't know if he changes his mind when we go to put it on paper. But Johnny, who do you got?
I've been riding with San Diego for a good few weeks already, so I'm going with San Diego.
Ooh, all right. Gabe, who do you got?
Oh, this is a good one. My gut tells me that London's going to win this game. I think they're both undefeated, and I think they're both good. It's really going to come down this game. They both got talents on both sides of the ball. It's really going to come down, I think, to turnovers and penalties and big plays, which always comes down to win it. And both are capable of doing it. I think London may be just a slight. It might have an edge over San Diego, not much, but the home field advantage may go to London. I mean, it may come down to that, but I'm with Johnny. I've been riding with San Diego and this whole season, and they haven't lost one yet. And it would just be nasty to jump off the ship when they haven't lost. So I got to continue to ride with the Vaqueros. But I think either team can win this. I mean, I can see San Diego winning. I can see London winning. I think it's going to come down to penalties, big plays, and definitely turnovers. But I'm going to ride with San Diego. I've been riding with them all year. When you guys weren't even talking about them, I was still riding with these guys from week 1 or 2, and they haven't let me down. So I think this is going to be a good one. I wish I could go to this game to watch it. I think it's going to be a really good one. But I'm going to continue to ride with San Diego. But it will be a good one. I'll be keeping tabs on my phone to see every quarter, see what's going on down there in Corpus.
All righty, Steve, you heard the case. Who do
Yeah.
you got?
Well, to complete the comeback, I'm gonna take London here. I'm gonna take London. Although I still got one more pick in my pocket over here. I'm taking Freer.
I already wrote it down, so you got Freer.
JK, bro. No, I'm taking London here. I think it's gonna be a great game. London's kind of, and this is ridiculous to even think that they kind of flew under the radar this year. We didn't talk about. The only time I can remember us talking about London is when they played Lyford, and they were and it was like, what, Lyford, who, you know, and that's the only thing that, because we had JT on, that's the only time that we ever talked about London, and I think they kind of flew under our radar this year because there's, you know, being so close. Isn't London from Portland area?
Corpus.
So is there a little town outside of Portland? No.
Elroy.
Gregory.
You're talking about Elroy?
No.
Elroy's in Odem.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
I just assumed that this was where I've heard of London, you know, obviously the baseball side of it. I thought they were closer to us, but all right,
No,
yeah,
they're all the way out there going towards Driscoll. If you go out to Corpus, way out Weber, going
Okay.
towards Driscoll, that you'll see it's like two or three really nice neighborhoods, and that's it. That's the whole school right there. That's the whole
Yeah.
population of that school.
That's cool. No, yeah, I'm gonna ride with London.
Well, I also have London on this one, but I do agree that this will be a good game. One of the things that I wanted to mention about San Diego, and if the coach was going to come on, some of the things I was going to bring up. Man, San Diego has a young team too. You know, the quarterback's young. His number one receiver is young. They're both juniors. They got some guys running the ball. A couple of juniors and sophomores. But their senior is their number one running back. But they got a lot of weapons on that team that are juniors and sophomores. So San Diego is a young team. So for them to be having a season like they're having with the young team, and they do have some senior leadership on that team, says a lot about the San Diego program down there. I wish we really had a chance to talk to the coach, but I will say again, you know, they're 8-0 with a young team. So hats off to San Diego. But I am gonna go with the London Pirates on this game. Uh, the next game I was looking it up on my phone. We had originally Bishop versus Foul. But when you look it up on your phone, under Bishop, it says Bishop's playing Edna. But when you look it up on Falfurious, it says Falfurious is playing Bishop. So do either of y'all know? Is it Foul? I mean, which one do you go off of?
I have Bishop and Foul.
Okay, but if you go on Bishop's website, it says that they're playing non-district team away. They're playing Edna, so that's why I wasn't sure if you look on
I would
the
go
Bishop.
Bishop and Falfurious.
Okay, all right. All right, so let me get back to. I think I got to get there because I have put Edna down because on Bishop's website it said they were playing
Yeah,
Edna.
yeah, that's what I got too.
Kind of strange, but if you go on the Falfredias website, it says they're playing Bishop. It says they're playing Bishop on the 4th, and on the 5th it says they're playing Edna. So I don't know.
Yeah, it sure does.
So here we go. So we got the 3 and 4 Bishop Badgers traveling down to Falfurrias to take on the Jerseys, the 1 and 8 Jerseys. Gabe, who do you got?
I'm gonna take the Bishop Badgers.
All right. Steve?
Yeah, same. I'm gonna ride with Bishop.
All right. And I don't know what happened to Johnny, so I'm going to go ahead and give him Foul. And I'm also going to give him Freer since he's not on.
No, he's jumping around. They just scored a home run.
Oh, yeah. He probably dropped his laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Shattered. Dang, man. What's going on? Now the Astros have to score seven runs in one inning like they did against the Red Sox to catch up. Last game we have in the area, we have the undefeated Refugio Bobcats hosting Freer. Gabriel, who do you got?
I got the Bobcats. Jordan Kelly and the Bobcats.
All right. That's probably a pretty safe pick. I thought you were going to give me and Steve one and go with Freer just so we could get, we could catch up. No? No mercy rule there?
I think Steve might catch up with all the picks he's made. You never know. He made some good picks. You never know. He could get them. Shoot, I mean, it's not out of the ordinary. Some of these games could go either way. So
Last game of the season for some of
Yeah,
them.
they could rest their seniors after the first
right.
half and let those other guys play. You never know.
Yep.
So Johnny, since you stepped away, I don't know if you can hear me. I see you're on mute. We went ahead and gave you Furious and we gave you Freer. We picked for you. It was 3-1. 3-1 pick.
Bishop
You good with that? You good with that?
Bishop.
I guess are y'all okay with him changing his pick?
My phone's blowing up. That's why I kind of lost y'all.
Yeah.
All right. I am also taking Refugio in this game.
Hey, I'm taking Refugio.
Oh, I didn't get. I guess I just penciled you in. I didn't think you were gonna. I didn't think you were gonna try to catch up with that game either. So I didn't.
No, I'm taking Refugio.
All right. I had you down for Refugio because like I said, I wasn't sure. I was pretty positive that you weren't gonna try to use that one as one of your
No, I can't do it.
picks. I mean, you said you had Freer, so actually I had Freer.
Yeah, I
just
did say
erased it.
that. I was only joking.
So for our state game, we have a good one. We have the 4A Division One Kilgore Bulldogs traveling down to the number 10 Lindale in a 4A Division One matchup. Gabriel, who do you got in this game?
Tell me again who it is.
We got the number 6 Kilgore Bulldogs taking on Lindale.
Yeah, I'm going with Kilgore.
Right. The last time we did this, we picked the higher ranked team. We all lost. Johnny, who do you got?
I am actually gonna go with Lindale.
All right. You want to tell us why, or you want us to pick first?
Let y'all pick first.
Steve, who do you got, Steve? You gonna
I'm
ride with
taking-
Johnny? You gonna ride with Gabriel?
I'm gonna ride with Johnny. I'm taking Lindale.
All right. All right. And I am also taking Lindale. Now, Johnny, do you want to tell them why you picked Lindale?
Why'd you pick Lindale?
Because they defeated the only team that beat Kilgore.
And they have been finishing the season stronger with higher scores. Very high.
They beat it. They defeated it. Was it Chapel Hill? And Chapel Hill was the only team that beat Kilgore, and they defeated them. So that's why I went with Lindale. Is that why you went with them?
They're beating the same teams in the district. Of course.
Oh no, it was Pine Tree. It was Pine Tree. Yeah, so Kilgore lost to Pine Tree 42-27, and Lindo actually beat Pine Tree. So
I'm just going with their higher scorings, higher points.
And they are playing at Lindale. All right, so that completes.
So I got a question. So how is Kilgore? How many losses does Kilgore have? And they're still
Kilgore's 8-1.
Lindale has 3 losses.
Lindo's 6-3.
All right.
So
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So Kilgore's ranked higher. Obviously, they're 8-1 on the season. Lindale's number 10, and they're 6-3 on the season. But like I said, the only team that beat Kilgore, Pine Tree Lindo actually beat them 31-29. So it's a close game. But some of the losses that Lindale has, they lost to Gilmer. We all know about Gilmer. Gilmer was played in the state championship game against Carthage, number 2 in the state in 4A Division 2. And then they also lost to Kaufman in a close one, 39-36. So, and then Van, we know how good Van is. Van's in the top 10 as well. So those are the teams that they lost to. So 6-3 is not really that bad for that Lindale team. But so this looks like this could be a game where we catch Gabriel. I don't know. We shall see. But that completes our picks for week 11. Good luck to all the teams. Good luck to our area. We're gonna try to cover all of them. We did put them all on the list. Um, there are some teams fighting for a playoff spot still. There are teams fighting for seeding. They're already clinched, but they're fighting for seeding. So it's gonna be a very, very interesting week 11, especially in that 5A Division One area district, and that 4A Division One area district for seeding purposes. So I can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait to see some upsets. Upsets are always good, but mostly, like we also mentioned, for the seniors, on their last home game or even their last game, if they didn't clinch a playoff spot, you know, this is where you might not know it, but it hits hard. So you got to go all out, leave it all on the field, because these are the memories you'll have forever. Johnny, you have anything to close with?
No, I just same thing what you just said about the seniors. This is their last game. This is it. This is it for them. Many would go on to college. Some will play, but this is a game that they will always remember. I still remember my last game. Of course, we lost. But
Was it a playoff game?
it's gonna stick with you forever.
Was it a playoff game?
It was a playoff game. The 21.
Yeah.
No. We lost. We were upset. We went in there. We were one of those where like we thought we were gonna win it, and yeah.
Who did y'all lose to?
Gabriel Carrizo or Pearsall, I can't remember exactly. So bad in memory, I don't even want to remember it.
Well, I remember my senior season. We lost in the playoffs in round one and we had just went to the third round 2 years in a row. And my senior year we lost in the first round to Yoakum. And I remember being mentally psyched because it was super cold. We played in Port Lavaca. It was cold. The ground was wet. There was sleet in the air. And we have we're at West Oso, so we're living on a budget. We had like 8 sideline jackets and 40 kids on the team, so we were freezing our ass off, man. But we had thermals on and gloves on and everything to cover up. And then Yoakum comes out. None of them have anything. No sideline jackets, no thermals. They're coming. I was like, what's up with these guys? I was like freaking out. I said, damn, these guys are tough. You know what I mean? And I never felt like that about a team before. I was like, damn, it's too cold out here to be coming out here like that. And we barely lost it at the end. We had a drive going. I felt like we spiked the ball in time. We just drove the ball about 60, 70 yards down the field. And we spiked the ball, I thought, with 2 seconds left. The refs didn't think so. And we ended up losing the game on a questionable call, I guess you could say. But yeah, it was a game that I'll always remember. Uh, Steve, you want to close with something? You got something to close with?
Yeah, no, I don't have much, man, other than those of you guys. I mean, it's tough. You got a son, that's fitting to finish his career. I'm saying, playing football. So it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be super psyched and pretty emotional. And I've been trying to prepare him all week, or actually not even, it's been maybe 3 weeks that I've been kind of talking through him and trying to prepare. Cause I went through it with Chino, his last game, and it was on there. They lost a game on our field, and it was pretty tough. And so I've been trying to prepare him and get his mind right and get him focused on his career after high school. But it's going to be super emotional, and for us, as parents, it's interesting to hear you guys talk about y'all memories of final games and whatnot. Me, I've only experienced it as a parent, never playing organized sports as a kid. So just speaking from a parent's perspective, it's pretty emotional roller coaster that I'm sure we'll be on that day. And so we're looking forward to it. And it's kind of one of those, sad, happy, crunk type of things. You know what I'm saying? So my feelings are all over the place. So, but we're looking forward to a great game and success in the playoffs. So that's the one thing we can hope for, right? is success in the playoffs. So we'll see how it goes, man. But best of luck to everybody and finishing their seasons healthy, right? Healthy for one, but all the memories that they'll be able to cherish for a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I will say, I don't remember my last home game, but I do remember my last playoff game. So,
Mhm.
uh, I know Joey's. I know it's his last home game, his last game in Pirate Stadium, but it's not his last game. So,
Yeah.
that's what he needs to think about. Because I promise you, he might not remember playing Port Isabel in week 11 of district play, but he'll remember playing Cuero in week 2 of the playoffs, and that'll be the game he remembers because that's the game I remember. I remember playing Yoakum
Yeah.
in the last game of my career. So I have very vivid memories of that game. I got a embarrassing story that I'll just share real quick. It won't take that long. Actually playing offensive tackle on the right side, and I always play on the left side, but I was playing on the right side this time. Uh, and I remember we had those old belts, Johnny, with the 2 rings,
Yeah,
that you loop through. Well, I
yeah.
remember I had put mine on real tight, right? And I remember I was blocking a defensive end. We were passing the ball. We didn't pass a lot. We were passing the ball, and I was blocking my guy, and I just felt my ring break, and my belt came loose, and that's really all that holds your pants up. There's not really a whole lot that holds your pants up. So my pants are falling down, and so I come off my block to pick my pants up, and my guy sacks the quarterback, and I was like, ah,
No.
man. And next play, coach pulled me out, and I was pissed because how do you go to silence? I said, Coach, my pants are falling down, But that's what was happening, man. It was so freaking embarrassing. It would have been more embarrassing had I let my pants fall, but it would have been a lot better if the pass would have got completed. But that was actually the last play I had on that game. I didn't go back in because I let
Oh.
my quarterback get sacked. But so Joey, if your pants are falling down, man, you make that block first and finish it. Let
Uh,
those pants fall, man.
Joey's got a
But
little
that,
bit more. Joey's got a little bit more to hold up his pants, though, bro. I don't think he's got
yeah,
to worry
yeah,
about that.
yeah. He sure does
So,
have more than I had.
so my last game was a playoff game. I looked it up. I just happen to have the scrapbook still to it. It was against Pearsall. That's who it was. I was totally way off. I remember they were a green team. That's all I remember. Yeah, we were on desperation there towards the end. We tried the hook and lateral, and it didn't work. I mean, they just shut us down. I wasn't even thinking of playing that game. That's how high, big headed we were. We rode through the district and thinking we were going to win that by district game, and that's what worries me about our team. You never know. We went in there. I wasn't even planning on playing. I had got injured against the sit game the game before, and I had the running back roll on my ankle, and because I took over the fullback position because that was only playing one way. So he went from the offense to the defense only, which he was getting recruited by a lot of big D1 schools for a fullback too. One was Oklahoma, the Sooners. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to play that game, and there I was. Coach came up game day Friday morning. He goes, "You ready to go tonight?" I looked at him like, "Huh?" He goes, "You're playing tonight." I was like, "Wow, okay." And yeah, I struggled that whole game. I hobbled, limped. I kind of felt bad that I didn't have a good lead blocker for who run out of the power eye. That's what we ran out of. And, yeah, I kind of felt bad that I was getting blown up by the linebacker every time because I just had to have that extra leverage.
That
And we
push
went
off.
for that. We went for that desperation hook and lateral. And I looked at my tailback named Robert Heron. I looked at him. I said, "Dude, finish this off for me, dude, please, dude." He looked at me. He said, "I got you." And that pass went to our tight end. Right before the tight end was catching the ball, he got blown up in the middle of his back. So the ball got pushed away. And our back, it went completely over our running back's head over the ball. And there was nobody out there. If he would have just caught it in the air, the game was over. He would have won the game. And I'm just looking at that just in full. I still see that slow motion. Just looking over there. I did the fake handoff thing. I looked over and I saw that ball go over his head, and I looked across. I'm like, there is nobody out there. And yeah, that's all. Yeah, that was a game that we thought, and I thought we were gonna win, and yeah, we didn't pull that off.
Yeah. So we were the same way, man. We had just went to the third round the last 2 years, so we thought we were gonna roll the first round team, and we got shocked, man. We got stunned. You know what I mean? And that's how we ended our senior season. It sucked, and it was very very emotional. The last game at home, I don't remember being it that emotional, but the last game, that's the one I remember the most. But anyways, I don't want to keep everybody too much longer. Gabriel, close us out.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much. This was Gridiron 64, episode number 11. We didn't take a break today. We ended up just going through it. We wanted to get done by 10 o'clock, which we did because we had, of course, extra games. It was the last regular season game. So for a lot of these teams that we talked about, we'll be talking about them continuing next week as we get into the first round of the playoffs. For some of these teams that you heard today, they'll be out for the 2021 season. This will be the last game on Friday. So just what Coach Steve said, injury free. You made a lot of memories, whether you won a lot of games or you did, and you were there with your team, your coaches, and it was another great football season. And so after Friday, we'll be here on the Gridiron. We'll have more than just 9 teams. We'll be looking at the first round playoffs. We'll be talking about them on Monday. And then, of course, we'll preview, and then, we'll continue to go as some of these teams in the Coastal Bend area end up fading out, right? Those that continue, we'll continue to cover, and then we'll continue to go down to the valley, probably go up to the San Antonio area, and we'll continue to talk about teams and cover teams throughout the week that we've never covered before here on the Gridiron. That'll lead us to the road to the championship for each division up in Dallas. And then once we get there, we'll continue to break it down. So there'll be a Gridiron until the final games are played over in Dallas. And so after that, the Gridiron will continue to and I'll let you guys know what we're going to do after the football season. But we'll be on every Monday until the championships of each division are crowned. Each team for each champion from each division is crowned. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We still got a lot of football left. This is really going to be exciting. We'll be talking about some teams, guys, that we hadn't talked about on the Gridiron, but that gives us a chance to do more research for that week on teams that we'll be covering. But I'm looking forward to the playoffs. And it's been a lot of fun. And of course, tomorrow we'll be back at 7 o'clock on the Pirates Cove, and I'll be tuning into our social media pages tomorrow morning. I'll let you guys know what's going to be happening there. But until next Monday, guys, thank you very much, Steve, for leading us. Peace out, and I'll see you guys next Monday for the first round of the playoffs at 7:30. Until then, have a good night.
Hey guys, real quick, man. Hey, you guys enjoy the best comeback in World Series history. And as soon as we tune out, and hey, Johnny, wipe your tears. I'd be there for you, brother.
I'm going to the bar right now to rub it in.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, are you going for real? What?
Yeah.
Which one?
Rock bottom.
Too far. All right.
Good night.
See y'all later,
Good
man.
night,
Good
guys.
night.
Yeah, peace
All
out.
right.
Hi, fellas.